How old were you?
I started, my first day was January 26, 2019. So I was 19 because my...
Oh, wait.
Wait.
That's literally like...
That's coming up.
That's today.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. See, you're meant to be
wow.
here today.
Yes.
You are meant to be here
That's
today.
crazy.
That's crazy.
Check me. It's deeper than cold. Yeah.
Woo,
Welcome.
baby.
Billionaire Bae.
Yes, I like that name.
I
That's
am
cute.
Billionaire Bae.
That's cute.
Speaking it into existence.
Yes,
Okay.
coming very
Manifestation.
soon. Time just hasn't caught up yet.
Amen.
And she's a Sag. We love that. You get to the bag.
Thank you. Yes.
So, Bella, your story is so inspiring. Can you tell me more about your journey, where you're from, why you've entered the nightlife industry, and what challenges you faced along that?
Okay, my journey. Whew. Well, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, literally. I moved out here to Atlanta, I want to say June of 2023.
Oh, so new. Transplant, babe.
Yeah, like I'm literally, a year and a half in. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I love it.
Love it?
I love it. Yeah, like compared to New York, I feel like it's more for our people. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not
Wakanda
wrong,
down
queen.
here.
Wakanda
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, growing up, it was very traditional. I had a great household. I wasn't like, struggling or anything. College, I went to Berkley in Manhattan, full academic scholarship. While working in college, Joe, I was in the honors program. I was working 3 jobs.
Sheesh.
Yeah, 3
Where did
jobs.
this drive come from?
You know what's crazy? I don't know. I've always been like hustle, hustle, hustle. I want more money, but I never had like the entrepreneurial mindset at first, though.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So while I was in college, I was also in the honors program, whatever, working 3 jobs. I eventually got fired from one of the jobs and I believe quit 2. And then I ended up working at FedEx. FedEx, that was my last job. I think my last time working there was probably, I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let me see that journey with FedEx.
Did you like FedEx? It's okay to say you didn't.
Yeah.
You already made
That's
the
past.
face. You made the face.
It's the fast. It's fine.
No, like I did at first. But I feel like, you know what? I think this was a big transition in my life. Like, this is where my life got a little spicy. Like,
Oh, okay. Let's see. I want to know.
Because,
Let me take another sip. Hold on.
yeah.
So I love that. Spicy.
Mhm.
So at that point, you were still in New York.
Yeah, I was still in New York. For sure. And actually, while I was working at FedEx is when I started to work in the nightlife industry.
Okay. And that was because you were still in college in 2019, right?
Mm-hmm. I graduated 2020. Mm-hmm.
You graduated 2020. Okay. So that was junior year.
Mm-hmm. Has to been.
Yeah. So junior year is when you started to transition into nightlife.
Mhm.
And you were a bartender first? Is that about the first one?
Before I even officially was like, okay, nightlife, I did like little gigs, like model girl gigs for like these LGBTQ events, but I never took anything serious. It was just like little side gigs. I wasn't really getting paid for it or anything. But where I really started working in a club was as a dancer.
Mhm.
That was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you work?
Like my first club?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to say the club, Dave. You don't want to say the club.
No,
okay.
you know what? It's
Was it
actually
Starlets?
No.
I
It's
love
actually closed out now, so it doesn't matter. It was a club called Cityscapes.
Oh, okay.
I actually know that one.
Really?
Yeah,
I know that
it closed down like probably like a couple months after.
Not because I've been there a lot or something like that. I'm gonna tell you, I've only been to a strip club. I'm just gonna say strip club. Is that the correct way to say the word? Okay,
yeah,
well,
I guess.
I only been to one twice, 2 different times.
Okay.
Right? And I didn't like it. So
Why didn't you like it? What, you went to the wrong one.
No, I think everybody else liked it. I didn't like it though.
What didn't you like about it?
I don't want to get into it now.
Well,
I didn't feel good.
Oh.
So I just didn't.
Okay.
The
Right. Okay.
But here's the other thing. I probably shouldn't be saying all this.
No,
I spent a lot of money though. Because I'm very generous.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I was like, I definitely can't do this a lot. You know?
Man, I can definitely see you like sliding in, like, you don't have to do this.
You don't gotta dance, boo.
You don't have to dance.
Just
No, but and I actually did
take
happen.
this course.
So this one woman had had talked me somehow to go into the back or whatever the case may be, and it was like $20 like a dance. This was way back in the day. I guess.
Oh yeah, this is before inflation.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was the back, and like I guess it was VIP.
Yeah, that was VIP.
So at the end of the day, it was $20 each song. That's what it was. $20 each song, right? And so I kept doing that until I ran out of $20 bills. And the last one, I didn't have another 20. She was like, and then she was like, "Oh man, you ran out of money, blah 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 blah." And then, not like she didn't say it like a mean way or whatever. I'm just saying, okay, I guess we done. Right, but I definitely owed her $20. So then I guess they do this thing where they walk around, where they kind of walk in front of everybody, like in a row, and like they walk past in like a row, and whatever, and everybody's just giving them $1 or whatever the case may be.
Wait, what?
And then when she came by, I was like, oh wait, no, here's a 20. She's like, oh, it's you. You know what? You are trustworthy. And she said something like that. Most time people wouldn't give you back $20. You don't belong here.
That's what she said?
That's what she said. And I was like, you're right. I don't belong here.
No, the thing is, we need more like you. Yeah.
Anyway, that's what she said. But I didn't feel comfortable the whole time. I was not having fun. And the first time I went,
you went throwing people too.
I don't think so.
For my birthday, can we go to Booby Trap?
And they were all acting like, first of all, this is the military, right? So they're all acting horrible. Let's just put it that way. So I just didn't want to be with them. Maybe if I went with like my actual friends.
Yeah, you would have had more fun.
Sure.
You were babysitting.
Especially for like a first time, just go with people you come.
Yeah, well, it's technically my second time. The first time I went, it was when I used to be on the step team, and like we were doing this thing as alumni, and then we went to, and then we stepped at a strip club for whatever reason, and so we were there, and then we were just chilling, and then we knew one of the women that was there. We just were hanging out, or we weren't doing anything, right? So that was the first time, but I wasn't really a customer. I don't even know why we were doing that. I don't know why we did that.
You just showed up,
but we did it. And then I also wasn't even 21 at that time. So I wasn't supposed to be there.
You know what's crazy? I wasn't even 21 when I started.
See, I don't know what they be.
Oh my
be
gosh,
wild.
you guys are so bad.
Yeah, I had a fake ID, literally, because you have to be 21 to start, but I had a fake ID. And like, they weren't scanning your IDs or anything. Yeah. So it's just like, okay, you good. Like, you feel me?
Yeah. And honestly, if I tell you I'm 21, like, look at me. I'm grown. It's fine. So how old were you?
I started, my first day was January 26, 2019. So I was 19 because my...
Oh, wait.
So
Wait, that's literally like...
That's coming up.
That's the lucky day. Oh my goodness.
That's
crazy. You're meant to be here today.
Yes.
You are meant to be here
that's
today.
crazy.
That's crazy.
And now look at you.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to come out today, obviously. No,
but
it's still on January 26th.
Let's film, guys.
I'll never forget my first day, because my first day, I was like so lost. Like, I was literally following the girls around the club, picking up dollars around the club. I literally only made like what I had to pay, because you have to pay to work or whatever.
It's like when you do hair. Do you have like a fee or something like that? Like,
no, like we have to pay to make money.
That's what I'm saying. Just like when you do hair, you have to pay like the booth rent or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like they get over on like industries that are like made for women, because you got to do that. But you got to do that for cutting hair too. So never mind. I was going somewhere and I was like, no.
I mean, definitely though, it's messed up that I have to pay even if I haven't made money. You know what I'm saying? Or I only made enough to pay you guys. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah, literally. It's like, it's a gamble. It's like you got to invest to risk money, basically. It's make up money. You feel me?
That's true. That's true.
You know what? That paints a whole different picture for me. Not in a bad way, just like, in a positive way. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Scared money don't make no money.
But you know what's crazy though? My first few years, I was like, I always call myself like an undercover dancer. Nobody knew.
Really?
Like, I promise you, this is the first time I'm ever going to speak about it publicly. Like, I swear to God.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. You heard it here.
Yeah,
Look
like,
at that.
No, for real, like, even on Instagram, like, I say, like, I've been a part of all the roles, but I've always been scared to be open about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? people gotta really hear my story. So I just gotta be able to be like, yeah, this is what it is. This is what it ain't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then it helps people like connect with you on a different, deeper level that
Mhm.
have been through it
Yeah,
and have done
exactly.
those
Mhm.
different industries.
Mhm. So yeah, like when I first started, it was just like, you know, trying it out. My best friend knew somebody who was working in the club because she was also in hair school, and like a girl she was in hair school with was dancing. So that's how we was able to like get into the industry. Like she taught us like, you know, our first couple of days or whatever. So it was just like a little random. Sometimes I go, sometimes I don't. But with my job, COVID hit, right? COVID hit. So I had like a month off. I had did my hair in braids or whatever. And one of my friends told me, like, you should start doing hair, like, you know, as a business.
Mm-hmm.
So remember I told you I never had like any entrepreneurial mindset before or anything. So this was my first step into it. She's like, you should start doing hair as a business. And I was like, no, like, I'm just hustling. Like, you feel me? I got my job. I'm gonna do that on the side. So eventually I was like, after I became, you know, negative with COVID, I started doing hair because I still had time off of work. You know, at that time they was giving like months off of work, but still paying you. So I was just at home, just chilling. So I started doing
Making
hair.
money.
Yeah, literally, I was at home. Started doing hair randomly. I did like, I think the 2 heads first for free. And then, you know, it's COVID. So everybody's looking to do like protective styles because everybody's in the house or whatever. So I started my hair business. And that went up because everybody wanted those hairstyles, like braids, twists, you know, locks. That's what I was doing. I wasn't the best at first, though.
But practice makes perfect.
Yeah, practice definitely makes perfect. But yeah, I wasn't the best. So yeah, my journey with hair up until literally right before I moved here is when I've been doing hair, and I just been dancing on top of that as well. After, I want to say, I ended up going back to work for a while, but I was still getting booked so often. I ended up quitting my job. Literally quitting my job.
What made you quit?
My hair business took off. Like at this point, I'm not really caring about like, you know, the club because it's my first year. Nobody's really, you know, I'm not really making money like that for real. I'm just still learning. But my hair business took off. Like I was making so much money from it. And I was like, you know what? I'm quitting my job. My mom was like, what about your benefits? What about this? What about that? You know how it is with, you know, the traditional parents. What about all that? But at that time, I'm like, listen, I'm making some money from this hair business. I quit my job and I was like, I'm gonna do hair full time and, you know, work at the club.
And get a little Kaiser account, you know what I'm saying? A little Stride or something like that.
Yeah, like on the side. Yeah, so I started doing hair. And then eventually with the hair, I realized like, you know, doing braids and styles, those long styles, I don't want to be on my feet all day. I don't want to be on my feet all day because, you know, now at that time I'm only doing hair and I'm also working in the club at night. So there was times where I was starting clients from 9 a.m. up until like 10 p.m. I'm doing hair. Then I would literally go in the shower and go to the club. And then be at the club from like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Wake up, 9 a.m. client. I was doing that for a very long time. But I'm like, nah.
You can't keep that up, right?
Yeah, like I was just like, I don't think I want to do hair no more. So then I started getting into the whole Forex thing. You know about Forex?
Foreign exchange.
Yeah, like with the multi-level marketing, you know, you recruiting and the ranking. Yeah.
And there's depends on what company or whatever, because I'm hesitant to say like, oh yeah, that's good. It depends, but it definitely depends on what company, because some are just straight up scams. Some are good companies.
I feel like I got scammed a little bit.
Have you heard of IML Academy?
No, I don't know that one. So I couldn't say if it's good or not. Only you would know.
So it was like an academy. Basically, like they, you know, you actually learn how to trade. You know, they do the whole crypto thing. But in reality, we weren't really focused on those products like trading or like the crypto. We was focused on recruiting people to get a higher rank. So have y'all ever heard of like the P100, P600, P1000?
No.
So basically, the more people you recruit, the more money you get paid monthly. So it went all the way up to, I believe, Chairman 750, where you're getting $750,000 a month. Yeah.
They still doing that?
No.
Oh.
Did you see the way she looked?
What's that? That sounds nice.
No, but like, you know, I feel like it was like a wave.
Okay.
Like, you know, a lot of people say like, what happened to the Forex people? Like, I feel like it was a wave. You know, But
There's
yeah,
got to
like,
be some ability to be able, like one thing you could look at a compensation plan and look and see if the company makes money off of off of like the high levels. And if the company isn't profitable at those levels, then they can't sustain it. That's why you have some companies that could be around like 30, 40, 50 years, and some companies that could be around for a year, you know, make some money and then disappear into the sunset, just like a grift. So it really, really depends. Not saying that one is, I'm just saying like that's like the difference. So I know
would love that.
we had
Make my money and leave.
remember Hazik? You were there for Hazik? Yeah. So Hazik's company, like he has a financial services company that uses direct sales, so kind of similar. Like they have like a, you know, financial literacy products and all that stuff like that. I should make him pay me for giving him a shout out. But at the end of the day, I'm saying
you really should.
But their business is legit. And then you know, my you know, a couple of my other friends are in you know, you probably heard of Legal Shield, the prepaid legal or whatever. That's been around for like decades or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the ones that like it's profitable for the company. And it's also profitable for the you know, for the individuals too. So there's like you know, it's just got to be work for both. I probably didn't need to go on that tangent, but I'm just saying I just wanted to clarify because I don't want no angry messages to pop up and be like, you were talking bad about network marketing. And I don't need to hear that.
It's definitely a skill to have to be able to network market. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we were so focused on just recruiting more and more people. And it's like, in order for us to continue to get paid, we had to rely on people to pay their monthly dues. So like if I got to a rank where I think my highest rank was like P1000, so where I was getting paid like $1,000 a month off of people who were under me. But it's like as soon as 2 people drop, now you're back to, what was it, P500 or P250? I forgot which one was, but it's like now I'm back to only getting paid $500 a month or $250 a month or $100 a month.
How much were these memberships?
I believe
like monthly.
Monthly, it had to have been, I think, $174, if I'm not mistaken. But I think when you initially signed up, it was like $3 and change. Don't quote me though, because I don't remember it fully.
Okay.
But you see what the problem there is, and I promise I'll get off of this. But you see how like you were like at the beginning, you were like, we weren't really focused on the product because that means you didn't see the value in the product the same way, or see something from it.
It's like okay, the product, it works, but you really got to take time to learn it. You're dealing with the foreign exchange market. You're dealing with crypto. You're dealing with all those type of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we came in and really focusing more on where we're gonna get money quicker from, which is getting people to join in and build up our levels in marketing, literally.
You know, Costco, right? That's
Costco?
dumb for me to bring that up. But you know, Costco, they got that monthly fee, right?
Yeah.
But people pay it every single month because they see the value in it, right? They see the value every single month. Like, I get something out of being at Costco, so I'm stay there. And so, you know, somebody's getting a residual off of the Costco in the override of like the people that actually sell the memberships or whatever. There's like incentives for that or whatever, but people want to keep their Costco membership. They have high retention. If the product isn't something that people want to, that's why the weight loss ones don't always do that well. Because like, I lost weight. Do I need to keep buying this?
Yes.
You know, some of them do. You know, I get my tummy tea every single month or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But
flat tummy tea, what a time.
But yeah, continue, because that was a small part of your story.
I know we're still in New York. Okay, my bad.
We didn't get to
Atlanta. My bad. Okay.
So eventually, you know, I got tired of having to rely on other people to pay their monthly dues in order to, you know, raise my level and ranking and be able to make more money. So I ended up drifting away from that. So I basically was like, okay, I don't want to rely on other people paying their monthly dues in order for me to make money per month. So I got out of trading. At this time, I'm still doing hair full time. You know what I'm saying? So because I got tired of doing hair, I started looking at other, you know, business ventures. So I ended up wanting to get into Airbnb. At that time, it was very popular as well. And I believe this had to have been 2020 or 2021. But I got a mentor that was, you know, teaching about Airbnb, how to get into it through rental arbitrage, where you basically lease, like you rent an apartment or you rent a home and you're subleasing to people, like putting it on Airbnb basically. So I got into that. My first property was in Houston. So I went out to Houston for about a month. This was my first time ever in Houston. I'd never been to Houston before. But what I liked about the nightlife industry at that time is because, all right, now I got to take a break from doing here. Now I'm going to Houston, but while I'm in Houston, setting up my Airbnb, I'm able to work at the club at night. So that was there for me as well. But my first property, it wasn't successful at all.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I feel like I got tricked, actually, now that I think about it.
By
Because
who?
the homeowner who he basically built the homes and he acted as a landlord as well, but he knew he wasn't a real landlord. But he built out the homes, like developed them. He, I told him I'm not from Houston, so I guess that was his way of selling to me without telling me about the area, which is also my fault as well because I should have did my research like my mentor taught me at the time. But I was just so excited to get my first Airbnb property. So it wasn't profitable. It was an actually very dangerous neighborhood in Houston, Sunnyside. Have you heard of Sunnyside?
So it sounds like it's always the ones that sound beautiful that are ones too.
That aren't. I have heard.
It was like 10 minutes from downtown Houston, but it was like in a terrible neighborhood. Like even while I was setting up the property, I was scared. Like,
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there used to be all type of stuff going on, but he always made it like reassure me that you're fine, you're fine. But basically, it was a beautiful property setup, but I invested way too much. And actually getting into the Airbnb business is where I learned about LLCs and learning how to set it up correctly because if you put like anything related to real estate, it's a high-risk industry. You may be denied funding. So, of course, I got funding for my first Airbnb property, but I invested way too much, over $20,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And when you say funding, let's not take for granted that everybody knows what you mean. So when you say funding, what do you mean?
Like getting credit, business credit, in order to basically not use my own money to invest into a business. OPM, other people's money. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I'm still paying it off today. That's so crazy. But it wasn't profitable. It wasn't in a good neighborhood. Like I feel like the bookings I had each month was meeting what I had to pay, like the overhead.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I eventually, after the year lease ended, I closed that down. But I'm like, I'm ready to get into business for real. Like, I got my first taste of entrepreneurship. I see how you can control your own schedule, control your money. I'm ready to get into business.
You got the bug.
Yeah, So, like, at that time, there was, like, so many events happening in ATL. So I kept flying out to ATL about just learning more about business credit, LLCs. And I realized all these events are always happening in ATL.
InvestFest and all that.
Yeah, literally. I'm like,
I wonder why.
No, for real, because
we're
success. This is
yeah.
Wall Street.
I mean, hey.
Yeah, for real. So I had the knowledge of Airbnb, and at this time, I was also living in an apartment on my own, in Brooklyn, New York. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put my apartment up for rent. Put it on Airbnb. I moved out. I locked the second bedroom with all my stuff in it. And I basically moved in with my ex at the time. But she was all the way in Jersey. And it was like back and forth because I was doing all the bookings, like doing all the cleanings in between bookings. And it was so fully booked.
Oh, really?
Like it was from the time I put it on Airbnb, it was fully booked. Yeah. Like it was designed really nice, because, I'm into aesthetics. I also had it set up to do hair in my crib too. So it was just like, it had a whole little aesthetic area where you could take pictures. Then there was a pole in my living room.
Oh, yeah. So I already know that
was a pole in my living room. It was a pole in my living room and all that. So it got booked. Like as soon as I put it up there, it was booked every single night. So she lived all the way in Jersey. I'm over here driving back to New York, running up tolls every day.
Close in Jersey or deep in?
She was deep in Jersey. Like it was like an hour from the city, Raleigh, New Jersey. Well, y'all don't know too much about the tri-state.
Well, I do.
It's all him.
Yeah. So,
I know the Jets play.
Rich do too.
So, yeah, where was I? Oh, so yeah, like it was booked every single day. When I was doing the cleaning, so I'm trying to maximize on profit because now I'm putting it up on Airbnb so I can save up to move to Atlanta.
Oh, so you already had the idea in your mind, like, I'm going to Atlanta.
Once I was like, you know what? I'm getting out the Airbnb business, or I'm closing down my first Airbnb. I don't want to do trading. I don't want to do hair. I'm going to where all the successful Black businesses are, and I'm gonna start over. So my plan was put my apartment on Airbnb, save up, and move to Atlanta, and that's what I did. So I was doing all the cleanings in between, taking all that profit, literally driving from Jersey back to Brooklyn. Then I work at the gym during the day as well and go to the club at night. At this time I was working at Starlet's. You mentioned Starlet's earlier.
You were?
Yeah.
I know you made all the money in the world.
This is when it comes to the clubs in New York, it's like, it's not regular, real strip clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not for the dancers. It's for the bartenders.
Mm-hmm. That's what they come for.
Yeah, like, it's like, I didn't know what a real strip club was until I moved out here. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So because she was so far, there was times where I would literally just stay in Brooklyn and shower at the gym, take a nap in my car, bring an extra change of clothes and drive straight to the club. Then after the club, either go back to Jersey, or if I was too tired, go to my grandma's house. Like, I was just like, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm trying to save up to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I did. And then once that lease was ended, it was so profitable to the point where I wanted to extend it and just have it as an Airbnb. But the laws during that time for all Airbnbs around like all major cities, it just kept changing. Like, it's like now I want it to be so restricted. They didn't want people to have Airbnbs or any type of short-term rentals. I ended up getting fined by the fire department.
How?
Because you're not supposed to, it's illegal to honestly have Airbnbs in New York in apartment buildings.
Oh.
Like, I think you had to own the property and it had to be like a home.
Oh, okay.
I got fined. I got fined. So I ended up having to close that down. Boom. But it was cool because I made, I saved up when I needed to. And once the lease was ended, that's when I literally picked up and drove to Atlanta and I moved out here. Yeah. So my first couple months out here, June up until I would say Black Friday, because this is when I invested. June up until Black Friday, y'all know how they have all these masterclasses on Sundays for these different girls on Instagram. So I was joining multiple masterclasses.
You ain't never come to one of mine.
I didn't. I guess I
What's up with that?
Ain't tell none of my stuff.
I didn't know about you back then.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, she didn't even know. Okay.
Yeah, that's not my fault.
It's fine. It's fine.
Like,
You're here now.
Yeah, for real. Like, I was joining masterclass up until June till Black Friday, November. I've been trying to figure out what business I want to get into. Like, at this time, I'm just working in the club full time, literally from June 2023 to then, working in the club full time. My plan was to come out here and do hair, and I had a solidified salon and everything, but I knew I didn't want to do no hair. So I'm gonna just come out here, work on trying to figure out a business during the day, and I'm gonna go to the club at night and make that money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. So up until November, I just been joining multiple different masterclasses, like either Sundays or Tuesdays, where it's about either landscape and theme pages, YouTube automation, like just trying to figure out what business I want to get into, even event spaces, like so many different things. But then I realized there was a common denominator amongst all these people who was holding these masterclasses, saying their mentors were either Him 500 or Neo Davis. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm over here joining our masterclass. I'm finna go to
about to go to the source.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to who y'all went to and learn from them. You know what I'm saying? I need help. Like, I want to go crazy. I want to be a billionaire. Literally, like, I need help. So I ended up comparing the two, and I ended up going with Marcus, Him 500, and I invested into him on Black Friday. He was wanting to sell for his one-on-one mentorship program.
I have an opinion about that.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is you picked the right one out of the two.
You think so?
You picked the right one out of the... Actually, we should cut that out.
Why? I know that's nice.
No, because maybe Neo might want to do some business with me. He could be like, so you thought Marcus was better.
No,
The
I
truth
told
is,
Neil
though,
this himself. I was like, listen, I was
Look.
between you and Marcus. But I feel like I was more relatable to Marcus. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like he was more real. Like, he wear the flashy shit, he cursing, because it's just really being like 100% real. I feel like
he's being himself, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's got more avenues to make money. Like that whole he talked about being a financial polygamist and all that. Like I like him, right?
Neo more so focused on event spaces and building like high
he like
level
real
businesses already.
real focused or whatever.
Very professional. I'm like, I need you to be.
I need you to say shit sometimes.
Yeah, talk shit, be raw. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You be seeing how him 500 be getting how you be getting that Neo like on Instagram sometimes.
Really?
Because Neo can't dance, he can't do this. So he just be.
But it's like jokingly though.
They're joking with each other.
Okay. They're real close. They're tight.
They've been circle CEOs together.
They're best
friends. Okay. See, I'm new to this.
And that's me. Like, I'm goofy as hell. Like, I'm a jokester. Like, I'm raw. Like, I'm a curse, and I'm gonna have a good time. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just connect. I feel like I connected with him more. So during my like trial period, my first few months out here, I've been writing down so many different business ideas. And there was one business idea that I brought up to Marcus, and he was just like, "Nah, take this and run with it." So it was between doing credit repair, making an income tracker for women who work in nightlife, because I got that idea because a lot of women who work in nightlife, they don't track the income that they make. Having certain conversations is like, all right, I know how much I made last week. How you don't know how much you made, or how you don't know how a certain night was, but I do. So I just was like, I want to make an income tracker sheet for women working in nightlife, and then ended up bringing it up to him, and he was like, "You sticking to the basics, go crazy, like teach them all financial literacy." Like, you know what I'm saying? Teach them everything you know. Like, you know about LLCs, you know how to file your taxes, you know how to prepare for tax season, you know how to open up a business bank account, you know how to do all that. So do all of that. Why are you just focusing on making a budget template? So, yep.
And now Billionaire Bae was formed.
So he took my idea and he just expanded it, and he was like, "Yo, go crazy." And that's what I'm doing.
That's what you've been doing. You've been going crazy.
Going crazy.
Yeah.
When I saw it, because by the time I, saw you'd already done all this. Like, I came late to the game.
No, I feel like I'm still new.
Cool. So it just works out. So that means my day one application is still accepted.
Yeah, no, you're cool. Like, I feel like I only started putting out content at first on Instagram. I didn't even think about really putting out like a ebook or a product until my first video went viral on Instagram. When everybody's asking me like, all right, how can I know more information? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And you need something for them to do.
Yeah. So it was literally like until my first video went viral, and I believe this was March of last year. I was like, nah, I got you. I'm working on something right now. Whole time I
think that's the one. I think I saw that. Like, I'm not sure what video I saw, but I think like it was like it had to be like around the summer. It was somewhere around. No. It was like the fall. So it was a little bit late because it was after InvestFest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that's like the first time I saw him, and I saw the branding. I saw the focus. I was like, this is genius. Why ain't nobody thought of this yet? Nobody. How come nobody did this? Like,
nobody.
Because like whenever you're trying to select a business to do, a lot of people do the same thing. Like, this person will do credit, this person do credit, this person will do this, but do that.
He was like, you trying to get a credit repair? Everybody and their mama doing credit repair.
Everybody doing it.
Everybody need it though.
If you come in with something, exactly what happened. If you come in with something that's different, you're going to easily pick up. So my videos kept going viral because literally nobody's seeing no content about finances for women in nightlife.
Exactly, because that niche is not tapped into. Like, nobody sees that group as a group that that they should attack. So that's like a good niche already. Does that niche have money? They have money. So you want to find a group that has money that's not being served, and then serve them with the thing they're not being served
solve
with.
A problem.
Exactly, solve that problem. And you figured out exactly. That's why I think it's genius. So I wanted to have you on. I'm like, yo, like nobody's thinking about doing that. And no matter what, you're gonna have the first mover advantage because you're the first one to like do it. Like, I don't know of anybody else that does it. And also, they don't pop up in my feed, so they're obviously not doing it at your level.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're not in my algorithm.
Yeah, because I even did my research for a little bit, trying to figure out if there's anybody else doing it. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but I have not found anyone who's literally doing like financial literacy advice to women who's working in nightlife. at all. So I'm happy to be a pioneer in the business. But it comes with a lot of challenges as well, because you know how a lot of businesses is just like, all right, they have somebody to look at who's already in the field.
You the one that they gonna look at.
Yeah, like who's already in the field doing what they're doing. So it's like now I'm like, dang, I got to be innovative when it comes to everything. Like I have to literally be the first to put this out here, create certain ideas, post certain content, or figure out certain content to put out there. So, yeah.
How do you go about like figuring out the content to post in?
So I go in the direction of like what questions I get asked the most about. Like I get a lot of questions about LLCs, or why should we prove our income, or mostly about LLCs. So I just go based off of like what's being asked of me.
Okay.
Market research. You already know who your customer avatar is. You know what I'm saying? Because you highlighted it, and you can relate to that avatar too, because your background shows that I've done all this in the nightlife. I've done this, and then where your credibility also comes from the fact of not just like, hey, I'm a Berkeley graduate, like I know this, I know that, and also I already have all these systems in place for me to do X, Y, and Z, and then you also show your successes. Like when I saw you put out the joint with the Ranger, I was like, oh, she about to go crazy. And then you documented the process along the way. Maddie J would be excited. And then you had like the little thing that's to show like when you got the apartment, it was like, and it even had the letter from the woman that was like I'm assuming it was, I don't know who it was, but it was that responded to you, was like, your credit is pristine, young lady. And I was like,
really? I gotta check it out.
She's going in right now. Like,
yeah, because you know what I realized? Like, until I build up so many different testimonials from people that I'm working with, I'm my own.
You the testimonial, exactly.
Testimonial, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's not me flexing. It's not me showing off on Instagram. It's literally me showing y'all, like, I'm teaching y'all based off of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm still working in the club too, honestly, but just because you haven't finished the book doesn't mean you can't inform on the lessons that you learned in the chapters that you've already read.
Oh, say that again.
That's a real.
That's a real. Oh, hold up.
Just because you haven't finished the book doesn't mean that you can't inform on the lessons that you learned in the chapters that you've already read. So I
come on, sis. Yes. Yes.
No, for real, but yeah.
Exactly.
Bar.
Was it?
Yeah, because in the crazy thing is, as you're on this journey, you're going to keep learning new things. Like you're not going to run out of things to learn because
so much.
Because I mean, there's stuff that you haven't tapped into yet that you eventually want to.
Exactly.
You're probably going to buy, a rental property soon. You're probably going, tap into stocks a little bit heavier and do this and do that, and all of it's you're going to be showing people that person that maybe just got into the nightlife yesterday, but they don't want to do it for 50 years. You probably can't do it 50. 20, that's realistic. Somebody could do it for 20 years.
This girl's doing it for more.
You know what I would like to see though? Like I would love to see like the women working in nightlife kind of take charge of take over when it comes to promotion too, having their own based events and like coming out for them, because that's a lot of the times you come to see the bartenders, you know what I'm saying? Like you come to see them, not really the promoters. No shade. But you know what I'm saying? Like I would love to like, oh, you're hosting today and like, yeah, I'm coming to see you versus I was gonna name drop somebody. I'm not gonna do that. I just learned from my last video. I'm not doing that. But you slut. But no, like there's so many ways that like we come to see the women, right? Like literally, that's what we come to see. And you guys have the best vibes, of course. But it's also like you still look at it as a male dominant space.
It is, yeah.
Where they're making the most money and they're the DJs. They're the
DJs, the promoters, the managers, the club owners.
Yeah.
They get to determine what percentages they take out or like what we have to pay. So yeah, like at the end of the day, it's still male dominated.
Do you see yourself taking like stepping in that way? Do you see yourself, whereas you're here to get to solidify your financial, situation and then leave the nightlife altogether? Or do you see yourself staying in to do what Chrissy's saying and kind of like take over and put a foothold and, do that for other, do that so you can support other Black women? Like what way do you look at it?
Like, are you saying like if I would step into like the management type of role.
Step into management, buy a club, promote. Like, is that something that you want to do or not? Either way is fine. I'm just curious on like.
It was an idea I had before, but I don't think I want to actually like have my own club. Mm-hmm. I had this idea of, should I say this? I don't know. I don't want nobody to take this idea. But
we can cut it out depending on.
No, but you know what? It's not something I want to do anymore. But I had this idea of opening up like a strip club where it's woman owned, but it's also cashless. So like woman.
Yeah.
Nah, you should have said that out loud.
I could pay you an afterpay. Like what you mean?
Like, okay.
Tapless?
So I haven't really like came up with all the details, but I don't want to do it anymore, honestly, because I don't want to be into the waking up or going to sleep so late anymore type of thing.
Yeah.
But like where the woman don't have to spend hours counting up singles. You know what I'm saying? So like you've seen the spots where people are throwing napkins.
Yeah,
like,
that's fun though.
Like people could, like customers could come in and they could buy not ones, but they could tell you how much they want to spend, like throw in credit cards or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I have an idea.
And then
if you want to do this, I have an idea though. Because literally, there's technology that you could easily use, where like you could put a wrist thing on the women, and then when somebody comes in, they put their wrist thing on. They load it with however many ones, and then they'll probably spend faster.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then every single time they do whatever, they just go boop, boop, and you just have them tap. That's it.
Yeah.
Have them tap, and like they'll lose count of how much money they're spending anyway.
Literally, and it's like the woman don't have to be so tired at the end of the night. You could just go home after the club because you don't gotta.
And it'll already be in your bank account.
Literally. So that was an idea I had a while ago.
That's a really good idea.
It is.
That's an amazing idea. Yeah. That's a great idea.
This probably sounds bad, and I hope I don't get any hate for saying this. Tell me if I need to cut it out.
All right.
But the reason why I didn't like when I went to that club, I don't like saying it this way though, but the reason why I didn't like it is I didn't like the interaction of like, I don't know. I felt like I was like, I have a whole bunch of thoughts in my head already just because, I don't know, my conscious upbringing.
Do you overthink a lot?
I overthink a lot of stuff, right? So you don't gotta say it like that, but I do. I overthink a lot, and it was giving me flashes of all these black women of just like I'm paying for them. It just felt like slavery a little bit.
But let me tell you, do you feel that way when you go to an NBA game?
Exactly.
But I'm not throwing money at
you
them. You
did on that ticket.
But here's the other thing. Do I not like the way that they're called owners of the team, and then there's a whole bunch of black? Yes, I already think about that stuff. So yes, I'm one of the people that do get mad about that and don't like it. So yes, I was set up for failure as soon as I went in. Especially when they did the whole thing, they walked past. There's a thing I was like, and then people were like, oh, I want that one. And I'm like, I didn't like it.
And that's valid. I understand. But what if you walked into an all black-owned, woman-owned space where they're just bossy women, they got money? Because a lot of times that's what it is.
I feel better about the transaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd feel better about walking in, right? Not that I'm going to do this anyway, right? Before I get myself in trouble. Like, what you saying? Anyway, but I would feel better about the transactions. I walked in, it was like, a strong black woman like yourself is in charge, and like things are like set up to serve. I would.
Yeah, no, I get it though.
Yeah. That's
they're having a ball.
You know what's crazy though? How you say that? There was this time where I was working or whatever. And I've never really worked in like the white male clubs where it's like a gentleman's club or whatever. But it was this club in Atlanta that I worked at, and a lot of white men come in.
Cheetah?
No, I don't. But I'm gonna say Candyland.
Oh, okay.
Candyland, yeah. So there was times we had a lot of white males, and there was this one particular interaction that just stuck with me. It relates to what you said. So it was a white male. I was dancing for him or whatever, and he got ones, but he was scared to throw it. And I was like, why? Like, you see everybody else doing it. He was like, it's just, I never agreed with how things were in the past. And I feel like I'm degrading you by throwing my money at you. So it just
you can hand it to me.
Yeah, for sure. So I told him to just give it to me. But it just reminded me of that because
see that's the same way. You know what? Me and he'll probably be friends. Because I mean, you're thinking the same with like. Am I supposed to do it?
And I think it was harder for him because I'm a Black woman and he's a white male, so now he's looking at it like that as well as what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, I don't know, but disregard everything I'm saying. That doesn't really matter. Because obviously everybody else don't feel that way.
I look at it as I'm supporting a small business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. That's what I'm doing. They have bills to pay and I'm helping that. And I love that.
For sure.
I like anybody making money. So I'm 100% there. I may not always be the right customer for you, but I want you to go make money.
At least you can send a friend to go in your place.
Exactly.
For real.
It's fine.
Send Hannibal.
Yeah.
Actually, I say
I would go with him. Then he would be cool.
But he would definitely go.
We answered a lot of these questions already, so I'm just going to go to the fifth one.
Did we?
Yeah.
What was the second question?
The second question would have been, what inspired you to be passionate about financial literacy and help others in the nightlife industry? You kind of answered that. Well, you did answer that. I guess this is a good one. Yeah, this is a good one. Why did you decide to focus on bartenders, dancers, and bottle girls? What unique challenges do they face?
So, for one, there was no one out here, and we kind of did touch on this a little bit. There was no one out here catering financial advice to women who's working in nightlife. Like, the women are making so much amount of money. Like, depending on where you are, it could be like, whether you're a bartender, bottle girl, or dancer, like, you're making money. You know what I'm saying? More than the average U.S. worker, but you don't know how to manage it. Why are you not tracking the income you make? How do you not know how much you made last week? Like, that was my main thing. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you filing your taxes? Why don't you know about LLC? Why don't you know about turning your hustle into your business? Because overall, you are a walking brand. You know what I'm saying? You get booked for events outside of the club. You're not just working in the club. People book you to go places. People fly you out to go places. You should be writing that off.
Right.
So
yeah.
I was like, listen, I'm going to step into that role because there's nobody out here doing it, and I'm going to help you. I got you. I'm here.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay. You're a Berkeley graduate who finished during the pandemic. How did that experience shape you to who you are today? And how you run things and how you are like a go-getter?
Magna cum laude too, right?
Yeah, I graduated.
Exactly. Like,
come on.
I was pronouncing it wrong this whole time. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, sorry. She got the credentials. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, look, I'm loud. But yeah, like I graduated with a 3.9 GPA, top of my class, magna cum laude or whatever. What I would say during the pandemic, what really broke my heart, I want to say, is that I didn't have a walk-in graduation. Like, it was literally remote.
Same. So ghetto.
Yeah. We had to literally put on it was like a filter, like a virtual graduation hat.
I got PTSD.
You had to do it too?
Yes.
A virtual graduation hat and sending a video of like our little message, like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying?
I made my students do that too.
Really?
I'm the professor, teacher, or whatever, so I had them do the same thing, and I know they wouldn't tell me to my face, but I know they thought it was corny. I was like, "What else am I gonna do? Like, I can't see you
to celebrate." Exactly. I get it. Yeah,
I was like, damn, like, you know what? And then I believe a year later, they was like inviting us to come and walk with them.
Yeah,
with the other class. I'm like, man, I'm all for y'all. Like,
I did that too. It's like, y'all want to come back now, right?
No, I'm straight.
Ain't nobody come.
No. I was just like, it's all right. Don't even worry about it.
Send it in the mail.
Don't worry about it.
Send that degree in the mail.
I would say the main thing was adapting to change. Like, it definitely showed me how easily things can change. Like, you could be living life one day and then boom, it's just something completely different. So it made me realize, like, yo, you gotta get on your stuff and really like change your future for yourself. Change your future, change your path. You know, you have to be intentional about like making it to where you want to make it. You know, because anything can change within a matter of moments.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely remote learning, definitely shifting my focus and my mindset. Just adapting to change during the pandemic. Definitely.
What's your 5-year plan?
You know, this question, I feel like, how can somebody, with the way technology is advancing?
Move your arm right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just in case.
Okay.
I might slide a little bit.
Okay. Should I just act like I'm holding? I think it's fine. So when it comes to the 5-year plan, I feel like the way technology is advancing so fast, how can you sit like and really have a specific plan that you want to stick to? Like, of course, you know, I want to come out with a lot of different programs. I want to host a lot of events, have a lot of workshops. I want to even have a nightlife conference to the point, like, you know, InvestFest. You guys know InvestFest, of course. Have something like that, but for nightlife, where I have people who used to be in the industry. Like, you know, we have the Cardi B's, the Summer Walkers, the Scissors, what's her name? She was Sue? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, co-story.
Ari Fletcher, like, have them come in.
I would love to see her.
Yeah, like, can y'all imagine that? Like a nightlife conference where we have a lot of women who are in the industry or in the game. They made it out. They have their own businesses and they're doing X, Y, and Z. And they're very successful. And coming back and talk to a lot of the women who's in the industry now, like motivating them. Or you know what I'm saying? So that is something that I definitely want to do. I also want to start hosting a lot of events like in clubs. But of course I want to build my brand to 7 figures. I want to make this a movement where it's like, y'all had this stereotype and this judgment of women working in nightlife, and y'all don't see the other side of it. Really get to know these women. We are doing this for a reason. Like, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's path is different, but we all have the same or similar end goals. We want to make it out. We want to be successful. We want to build generational wealth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just want to enforce that movement, expand, scale the brand, the business, host a lot of different workshops and conferences, and just put myself out there, you know? Do a lot more public speaking as well. But this is one of my goals this year, to get better with my public speaking, because I get really shy talking in front of people.
We wouldn't even know if you didn't say it.
Yeah.
Cap it.
No, I swear.
No, really.
I swear. But yeah, like, I just want to be able to be comfortable hosting a lot of events where I'm like in the forefront, and then I have other women come in and speak in. But I got to get out of this shell of being scared to talk in front of large groups. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Can I give you one piece of advice?
Sure.
That I would tell you if you were one of my people, right? So listen to him 500 though. He's better than me anyway. Don't tell him I said
I'm biased.
But I think that and you're focused on nightlife, and you should, as you expand, like that next market you should grab, because as you get bigger, you always gotta grab another market and assimilate that in. You should all, like, a lot of the challenges that women in nightlife will have, women that are you know, lash techs and are hairstylists and are in beauty, and a lot of that get paid cash and are in industries that are like a little bit male dominated, etc., would have a lot of the same challenges, would be able to empathize, and they might even be crossover that they've done both. Like somebody who's a makeup artist at NBC also is in the nightlife as well, or whatever. You see a lot of overlap there. I think that you should incorporate that too, and think about how you're going to expand into helping those women as well. And I think that will help bolster your numbers too, to be able to have those really, really big events.
You know what's crazy? Recently too, I've been getting a lot of hit-ups from hairstylists about, like, can this apply to hairstylists as well? And I realized there's nobody out here doing it for the beauticians as well. Like, why is there nobody teaching the financial literacy advice?
I don't want to say this, but every hairstylist I know has bad credit and don't keep track of their money. That's bad. But I'm just saying, it's just the ones that I know, not everyone I know.
Yeah.
But
Because it's a lot of money flowing in, but not the
not
accounting for it.
Yeah, and I've experienced that too because, I used to do hair and everything, and I only accepted cash at that point too. So it's like, it's still also a cash-based industry, you know what I'm saying? So, and I was thinking about that too, like maybe I should expand, but I was like, you know what, I don't want to lose focus on my specific target audience.
Yeah, not yet, too early.
Yeah, way too early, you know what I'm saying? So I was like telling them, it can apply to you. I got you, and I'll give you certain tips. But I put out my content specifically saying, the bartenders, the bottle girls, the waitresses, the dancers, because that's my specific target audience. But hairstylists, the mois, the beauticians, they also accept cash as well. So it definitely can apply to them as well. So I was thinking about expanding into that in the future as well. That's crazy you brought that up.
Yeah, when I first moved down to Atlanta, I was doing makeup, and I only catered to nightlife.
Wow.
And so I dealt with just getting paid cash, but getting paid cash once, so it does definitely apply and it's definitely needed. But I will say that like just the content alone, it can just apply though.
Yeah.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone who has cash and who takes home money that is not being run through a bank or any type of accounting
like
system.
A direct deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of put yourself in that space. And
that's true. I will, definitely.
That's just my 2 cents, right?
That was like 5 cents. Oh, okay, so this next question is all you.
Well, yeah. So, because you've talked about a lot about what you want to do in general, right? Like who your target market is, and et cetera. But you also talked about that you want to build generational wealth, and like the main American ideals of how you do that is either through paper assets or through real assets, like real estate, right? And I know different personality types normally gravitate toward one or the other. And you seem like you had a little bit of experience with both because you were dealing with Forex, paper assets, and you were you've done some rental arbitrage. And what I've noticed, me personally, I'm saying which one I like better. I like stocks better. Right. And the reason why I like stocks better is because stocks give you the ability to be able to make money without having to talk to a person. No matter what, if I do real estate, I still got to transact with a human being in order to make the things happen. But if you learn how to read charts and you learn how to do that or whatever with stocks and paper assets, I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to worry about if somebody pays a bill. I don't have to worry about that. All I got to do is show up when the trading window is available and know what I'm looking for. And then make money when it goes up or it goes down. Because if you know what you're doing, you make money if it goes up or go down. You know how to do a call, do a put, do this.
Sell and buy.
Yeah. So my thought is, even though you haven't like focused in on doing that yet, like based on your personality, where do you see yourself gravitating more toward? Did you like your experience with real estate enough that you want to kind of move into doing more stuff for real estate? Or do you think you really want to hone in on paper assets because this way that you don't have to have another sphere where you have to like work with people? You know what I mean? So I'm just curious, like your thoughts. Like, and even if you don't know yet, if you're just thinking about it, I'm just curious what way you think about it.
Okay. So I feel like I'm gravitating more towards real estate, simply because I have slight experience when it comes to the rental arbitrage, like being able to invest into a property, then resell it or, sublease it. And then it's like you're making money off of that and you just have to pay like, the overhead or whatever. I have little knowledge in stocks, not too much. I really learned a little bit from my dad because he's heavy into like Robinhood and all the type of stuff. And he taught me a little bit, but I'm not too well versed to be able to fully dive into it. But I do think as of right now, I'm gravitating more towards real estate. Like I see myself more like buying properties and flipping it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And you think you would like to flip? Because see, for me, I definitely don't mind flipping. Right. And I've done it before. Like when I was 20, I had like a little business where I was doing that. Oh, I shouldn't call it a little business. It was a big business.
It's crazy because I always catch myself anytime I say, oh, little business, little thing. No, big business.
You big business. But at the end, so you think that flipping is something that you want to dive into, like as opposed to buy and hold and rent, or that sort of thing. Like you like the idea of flipping the property, getting the money back, buy another one, deal with the taxes. Like you like that.
Yeah,
flow.
like, I'm open to, because I want to learn all about it. I'm open to learning different avenues, like even where I get a property and then I rent it out, But then I'm also hearing about like all that comes with it, because now you have to deal with direct tenants. And, that comes with a lot as well. And there's so much more ways now that you can invest into real estate without having to deal directly with tenants. So I want to take my time to really learn different avenues when it comes to real estate. And then really figure out, okay, I think I want to go this route. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I got to set aside time to do that for sure.
And my best investments have all been real estate. So it's crazy that that's not my favorite thing, because at the end of the day, like, if not for real estate, I'd be effed up right now.
Right.
So, I should think it's like the best thing in the world.
Yeah, but you gravitate towards stocks.
Yes, because the thing is that when you buy a stock, you're buying a piece of a business, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and then when I make investments into like, because I do like angel investing too, or whatever, like you're put it like a business can go from $1 to being worth $100 million. That's a possibility.
True.
I'm not going to buy a house for $1 that's worth $100 million, but I could buy, like, the best deal I've ever had. I bought a house for $376K, and then it eventually ended up being worth $620K. Right? So like you can have that happen, but but I mean, you're not going to get 376 and turn into 30 million.
Yeah.
But with a business, you can do that. And so I just have a affinity toward I like the idea of being invested in, in a business.
Yeah, not for sure.
So that's just me. Like, neither one of our opinions are right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, just curious to hear, like, your thinking on it. Cool. So, and what about crypto? Like, have you touched it at all?
You know what's crazy? I was going to mention it just now when you said, businesses start at, you can invest so little and then it end up skyrocketing. I had my slight experience in crypto was with Bitcoin. Back when I was doing the Forex trading, I invested into Bitcoin when it was around 30-something thousand. It was around that range. Then it kept dropping lower and lower and lower at a point. But I was younger. I'm not thinking like, okay, it's going to drop low, but it's going to go up. Like right now, where is that? Like 100,000 or something?
100,000.
Yeah. So at that time, I think I invested when it was about 33,000 and it got low to about 28. And I took out my little money that I had in there. I'm like, you got me messed up. but I'm thinking about it now, like, yo, if I kept that in there,
you quadrupled your money.
Yeah, like that's crazy. So I haven't dug too much deep into it. Like I do a little investing with Coinbase. Like I invested into XRP. Simply because one of my mentors, they was like, invest into XRP. Like it's gonna go up. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna trust you on this. But I feel like I really gotta learn some, like really get into it for real. Like why should I invest? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't done that.
Well, let me give you some game on that, right? When it comes to crypto, right? And this is like the foundational thing of like why you should invest in crypto in general. And that is, there is a 4-year cycle in crypto. Like, so the reason why you sold, because you didn't know about the 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
You would have known, you would have been like, oh yeah, no, I should just buy some more because, looking at the long term. So basically, Bitcoin is the biggest crypto, has the highest market cap. It moves the rest of the market. Excuse me. So long story short, every 4 years, Bitcoin has this event called the halvening, right? After every certain amount of blocks, but it's about every 4 years, right? And only thing you really have to know about that, because I can get super technical about it, but nobody cares about that. And I'm a software engineer, so sometimes I get a little bit extra technical, but nobody cares about that stuff.
They care.
I can't.
Nobody cares. Y'all are gonna go to sleep if I start talking about it right now. The important thing is every 4 years, the amount of money that miners make gets halved, like the amount of Bitcoin that you get for a block.
Oh,
right. Now that sounds bad, but what it actually does is it supply and demand, and we all business people, we know supply and demand.
Yeah.
So there is less Bitcoin being mined because the block reward gets halved. So it creates pressure, that causes the price to jump up every 4 years because the supply, rate, just goes down. And also, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that there could ever be. So essentially, if you look at the charts every 4 years, since 2009 or whatever the case may be, you see like a spike, right, in the price each time that occurs. So, and essentially, what normally happens is after the halvening, there's a little bit of a knock up of the price. The price goes up a little bit, then starts to come down a little bit, get a little bit stable at another price, and then about a year from the halvening, it goes boom, boom, and it blows up. Happens every single time. So that's why in 2017, when it hit 20K, when it hit 60K in the 2020s, and then when it hit 100K just now, which we're probably not at the peak, but we're probably somewhere around it. Every single 4 years, it does that. So if you were to buy now, you're somewhere around the peak now. So you might end up, being going down to about 6. Because normally, when it does drop off, it normally drops down to the previous all-time high. So you'd probably be looking at Bitcoin to go down to about 60K eventually, like in about a year or so. And everybody's like, "Oh, I lost my money. I bought in at 120K or 150 or whatever." But if you wait till then and you buy, right? What's probably going to happen is, we don't know what the all-time high is going to be here, but let's say it's about a 150 or something like that. So a lot of people are saying it'll be 150 to 200. Let's say that's what it is, or even if it's like 110 or whatever. Next time around, you're going to be looking at it to be $200,000, $300,000 or whatever the case may be. And if you bought in at 60K, whatever, when it touches back down to the previous all-time high, you can like 5x your money. And that's happened like clockwork every single time, right? So it's kind of like, if you know what you're looking for, you can easily see that. And then also the good thing about Bitcoin is if somebody who's a scalper, the price, if you look at the average true range of Bitcoin at any given time, you can see like how much is going up or down on average on each day. And there's money to be made each day because you can literally like take $100 or let's say $1,000 easier with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's kind of expensive. Like $1,000 that you could put in, right? And you could watch the price. Okay, let me make sure I get a good entry. Right. And then just sit there and say, okay, boom, let me wait for the next time it's going to spike, sell, come back down, buy again, spike, sell. There's people do that all the time and make like a couple $100 a day off of that. And there's not really any regulation there on that as well, because, it's crypto. I just got to pay your taxes. And XRP has a lot of volatility too. So a lot of people do that XRP. But the thought process of XRP was, the game there on that is the XRP matches with Bitcoin cycle. So it follows Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin's moving, XRP's moving. But on top of the XRP was being manipulated to have a lower price because they had a lawsuit with the SEC. So they should be valued a whole lot higher than they're valued than they were valued. Now they kind of meet because they should have about the same valuation overall as like Ethereum, their market cap. And they've kind of like started to match up with that. But they have a lot more utility, and because all of the big companies are behind Solana and XRP, like using it in in enterprise, right? So the price of it being like $3 or $4 is like still way below where it should be based on the value that it should have, like the utility it has. So a bet on XRP eventually meeting that number and then flipping Ethereum and staying there is a pretty good bet. Doesn't mean it's going to work out. It may not, but I mean, if somebody had $5,000 and could not die if they lost $5,000, it's a good place to put $5,000 and see what happens. Because if it flips the way that a lot of people think it will, but especially now that Trump won. If Trump didn't win, I would say it's a bad bet. Now that Trump won, it's probably a good bet. I mean, it could easily 20, 30x. So you take $5,000, you might around 2029-ish. That's like the time frame you should have it out to. Around 2029-ish, that the $5,000 could easily be 150, 200,000 if you like kind of ride it out.
And where? $5,000 on what?
XRP.
Okay.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. I'm just doing it.
I'm just saying, toward that goal of like financial like independence, that, you know, all the money that you're making and you're like investing there, I think that those are good places to
For
place it.
sure.
You said 2029?
Yeah, 2029, 2030, like right around there would be like the point you're looking at to like for that to pan out or not. Some people are talking about after the 2032 happening, but I think that's like a little bit too far of like you'd have to see what happens in 2028 to like make a plan about that.
Yeah.
But 2029 is what you'd be looking for everything to kind of like get to where it needs to be. And also that's also when Trump will be done too. And it's like, so you got to wait to see what happens in 2028.
Say that.
Yeah. So it kind of depends on that too.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But you know,
okay.
You know, do what you want. I'm just saying. Because I took my Bitcoin and I bought an investment property, you know, and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I should like real estate more than I do. I kind of look at real estate like a necessary evil. Like, I mean, I have to put it here, right? So,
yeah.
That is the best place for it to be.
Yeah, so, but, you know, it's so much work. That's what the problem is. I'm a little bit lazy. That's the problem.
You think so?
No, you're not lazy.
I'm ambitiously lazy. You ever heard that before?
Ambitiously
Where,
lazy.
like, you want to do stuff, this way you don't have to do stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every time you get a new property, it's another job again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's like you put in work one time.
No, it's not one time. People call you like toilet's broken, and then the blah blah blah, and then this tenant left.
Then you hire people for that to take care of.
And then I got to manage people, and then it's a thing.
I'd rather
do
just
property management.
Yeah, you have property.
But do you need a property manager for your stocks? Portfolio? No, you don't.
I mean, I get it. I would say I see why you say, you know, you prefer stocks over real estate. It's feel like it's simpler. Like you're just buying into a business.
No people's involved.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is stare at the computer screen. You know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Nobody gotta see me. I don't gotta put on any nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? I just sit in my robe. it's great. But
like good. Life is good.
Exactly. But hey, the best investment is your credit, though. Actually.
Oh, and that goes into my next question for you. Credit plays such a pivotal role in financial literacy. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start that over. Because that's
you
not
have the perfect segue, too.
I was.
Right.
Damn. Can we say it again?
We just gonna keep this whole section in.
Oh, okay. Sorry, YouTube. Credits. Okay, I'm ready now. Credit plays such a pivotal role in financial stability. Why is it so important? And what are your top tips for building and maintaining your credit?
Well, credit is important because I feel like it's a gateway to wealth. When you build up your personal credit, it's easy to get business credit where you're able to get access to money that's not technically yours, other people's money that you can get from banks and lenders and invest into other income streams. So it's like, I'm investing into a business without having to use my own money. And I get rich off this business and I haven't even invested my own money. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Sounds like a win.
So I feel like you get a lot of access to opportunities. Not only that, you know, when you have great credit, you get lower interest rates, you know, stuff like that. How I started to build my credit was literally through secure cards in college. My first secured card was through a credit union, MCU. I don't think it's out here though, but it was back
MCU's
home.
New York, yeah.
Yeah, it's New York. That's how I had like no credit score in college at all until I got my first secured credit card. I think it was like $400. And from there I got a credit score. And then I just kept applying to more and more cards. But my thing is, my top tip right now when it comes to maintaining and building credit would be, I feel like you should use your credit like a debit card. Like you can spend like everyday purchase on there. Of course, don't spend no more than what you're making. But get those reward points, get the cash back. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you're paying it on time before due date, you know, and make sure you're keeping the usage under 30%, really under 10%. But yeah, just making sure you never miss no payments.
Explain what that means, because not everybody's going to know what you mean when you say keep the usage under 10%.
Okay, so basically, boom. If you have a credit limit of $10,000, don't spend more than 30%, which would be $3,000. So credit utilization is basically how much money you're using that you're on your credit card. Like, you know, what amount that you're utilizing, that you're spending. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, the overall thing is don't go over 30%, but really keep it under 10% if you can. Definitely never miss any payments. Late payments, negative effect on your credit, for sure.
1 day late or how many days late?
I don't think it should be any days late.
No days late?
No.
No days late? Okay. All right.
Because people will be like, well, it probably makes bad habits, but if it's not 30 days late, it don't count.
I've heard that before.
But then you got to pay fees. Because so you just
definitely.
money.
You got to pay late fees. So now you're wasting money for no reason on money that wasn't even yours to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess when you look at it like that, it's very clear. Like, it's not your money. Pay it back.
Pay those people back.
Pay those people back. They will be at your house. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's your tips.
Ask me some more questions about credit, I guess. So I can be more specific.
I mean, you kind of answered all these.
Can you talk about your process about like getting your apartment, like how you got your apartment and your car and all that stuff like that, if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, sure.
Just a little bit about the process.
My latest apartment?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I moved to Midtown.
Well, don't say where it is. We're gonna cut that out.
I dox myself all the time.
We don't want nobody trying to find you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we trying to check you. Cut that part out. Let me re-ask the question. Could you walk through the process that you went through when you got your most recent apartment and then when you got your most recent vehicle?
Okay. Yeah. So my most recent apartment, thank God for being able to prove my income as a nightlife work because I'm full-time nightlife. You know what I'm saying? They basically needed your credit check. They needed tax returns and bank statements.
Oh, wow. That's required if you... Okay.
Required, yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But then if you're like an employed individual, they just want your W-2s or like your pay stubs. But, self-employed, they want tax returns, bank statements, and making sure you got good credit. Perfect. So, of course, I had all of those. Being able to prove my income while working in the industry really helped me a lot because on my tax return, I showed how much money I'm making. So, of course, my rent is pretty high. But because I was able to prove how much I've made in the industry, it shows. You feel me? They want 2x or 3x the payments. But on my taxes to show that. Then also, they want to make sure that you don't have no evictions or no late payments or any negative items on your credit report. So, of course, I didn't have any of that. And it was easy. If there are any negative things on your report, it's easy to remove them because it's different ways, like sending out letters to different bureaus and stuff like that. And then also with my car, I actually just got my car in my business name. Mm-hmm. So it's under my LLC, but I personally guaranteed it because I have good credit. Mm-hmm. So I was able to basically say, all right, it's under my business name. So now not only that I have good credit to personally guarantee it, now it's a tax write-off because it's under my business. With that, what I needed, I believe it was like a 680 minimum credit score, but my credit score is in the 800s, thankfully. Amen.
Oh, I need to sign up for your stuff. But you said you're not doing credit. Okay.
No, I don't focus too much on credit. I just have this DIY credit repair software, but it's powered by artificial intelligence where they remove late payments or any negative items off your report. But I don't focus too much on credit. What was I just saying about my car?
And that's another thing. So what does that mean when you said you... What did you say?
Personally guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So basically, with my car, I put it in my business name under my LLC. But I personally guarantee, basically saying, all right, it's under my business name, but myself, like Lalibala me, I'm personally guaranteeing that, okay, if the business can't pay for it, I can pay for it. And I prove that because of my credit history and my auto score. So when you're getting a new car at a dealership, they don't look at the general. There's different scores under your report. A lot of people don't know this. My auto score, because I had a previous auto loan and I never missed a payment, always paid on time, it was high. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to personally guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And all that comes from because people always will say, you ever heard the term like it's the juice worth the squeeze? It's like, well, I'm already getting paid all this money and I'm not doing all this and that seems to be fine. What am I really going to get out of it if I set up my LLC, I file my taxes correctly, I show the right income, I do this, I do that. Like if I do these things that Bella's telling me to do, what will I get? Well, I can get a luxury apartment, right? I can personally guarantee a fly ass car. I don't know if you want to tell everybody what kind of car you got, but it's really nice. So you can do those things because you took the time previously to put in that work.
Strategic planning.
Exactly. You strategically plan that out. And you're a very strategic thinker. Even when you were like, I don't really know about 5-year plan, then you just gave like the craziest great plan.
Right. I'm like, bro, what?
No, but you know what? Because it's just like you put out a plan, but it's like 9 times out of 10, all right, I'm going to say I'm going to do this year. It's probably not going to go like that.
Exactly. Things are going to,
happen. And I think that also comes from like being a 2020 graduate. Like you've seen like life completely switch in the matter of like.
I thought I was going to walk across the stage and do a dance on something. I didn't even get to walk across the stage. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just never know. Everything is just changing so rapidly.
Literally.
And it's funny you say that about being a 2020 graduate. So, we were talking about the 2032 thesis and all that. And you are one of the people that I'm talking about in my 2032 thesis. Like, you're like these future leaders that I'm discussing. Like, right here in the flesh. Right here,
in the flesh.
Right here, right now. And so my 2032 thesis, and you can read about it in my book. Not a shameless plug because it's my podcast. I can talk about my
It'll
stuff.
be somewhere.
Period.
So one of the things I talk about is in the year 2032, why that's such a pivotal time frame, is that is the time when your cohort of people are going to be able to take over the world. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because right now you have the baby boomer generation. We all know about them. They're born from 1946 to 1964. Those people by 2032 are going to be 86 to 68 years old. They're going to be old. A lot of them are going to have passed on, unfortunately, et cetera, because they're old.
Not you guys.
I'm sorry. I'm saying, unfortunately, God.
Yes. And at that same time, you born 98, 99? Well, you may not want to say.
99.
99. Okay. So right in the middle, like the people that are born in the millennial generation, which is my generation, but like talking about the younger piece of the
generation.
Our generation, because you're technically a millennial too, right?
Why do you keep saying technically? I'm a millennial.
But you're like right on the cusp.
Okay, well, I'm a millennial.
Yes. So like our generation. But like the oldest people from my generation could be 50 years old in 2032. Right? And I'll be 44, right? Dating myself, right? Then the Gen Z generation, your generation, y'all are going to be in like your prime leadership years. But the benefit is that those generations that came before you aren't going to have the numbers to counteract, let's say, your voting or your leadership ability, et cetera. You actually are in a position to take over the world.
Yeah.
Right? And depending on how y'all decide to maneuver is going to change the entire future because the world will literally be in your hands. You'll be 33 years old. You'll be right in like, you'll be in the perfect year for you to be, making decisions and, making changes and doing all those things. And it's going to be for the first time, the primary workforce, with counting the millennials and Gen Z and also Gen Alpha that's kind of behind you as well, is going to be people that grew up their entire life with technology at their fingertips that was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Like you graduated college in the middle of that. Yeah. People were in high school and did their whole high school during the pandemic, right? They got hyper, indoctrinated into technology, et cetera, just because they had no choice. And so y'all were forced to grow up a different way and see the world a different way. And now you're going to have the ability to be able to affect the world and nobody's going to be able to stop you. Like this whole caveat, how people say like that your vote doesn't matter and all the stuff like that. There was some truth to that before, because if the baby boomers all got together and decided that something wasn't happening and they could get on the same accord, which just happened, they can vote something. You're like, how the heck is this the thing? Like, nobody is saying that.
TikTok.
Nobody's saying this on TikTok or whatever the case may be, though. But the baby boomers, they just can just decide.
Yeah,
because
they don't even know how to connect to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and they have the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's no longer going to be the case. You're going to be the first group of people in 2032 where that is not the case. When you are an adult, you get to, you're already an adult.
You're going to be grown.
When you're a grown-er adult.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to affect that. And the reason why I'm just bringing that up, it's not even more of a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more of like a reaction because I can 100% prove this to you on any chart if you want me to show it.
Mm-hmm.
But you will be the majority, right? And the decisions that you make are going to echo for generations to come after.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that make you think? Like, what's it make you feel? Does it make you feel any type of way? Or
it makes you feel amazing because I even feel now, like our generation now, like we're different. It's not traditional anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I see what you're talking about. I see it now. Like we have a lot of women who are now wanting to say, F men or like F these jobs. I'm about to be a business owner. I got this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think
killing it.
Yeah, for real. Like there's a lot of women I've met like around my age and even younger. They're just like on their shit. Like, I don't know. My bad. But
that's fun. We're already rated explicit on Spotify.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that.
Really?
Why you ain't tell me that? That's lit.
I looked at it. I was like, it's like, dang. I mean, they self-rated. They was like, nah, you curse too much.
It's probably me. It's all me. My bad.
Like, it's a lot of people now in my generation who's just on top of this stuff. And I'm happy to see it. My only worry, though, is that a lot of people are wanting to be entrepreneurs and business owners, but we still do need people who are working these jobs, though. Like, I feel like it's a cycle. Like, not a cycle. I feel like everybody plays a hand in the world. So we still need the doctors. We still need the medical people. We still need all that. But we do have...
Huh? Did you say AI?
Yeah, I did. But keep going.
No, AI can't do Mo surgery.
AI will be able to do surgery.
That's crazy.
100%. AI will 100% be able to do surgery.
And you know what's crazy?
Hopefully not while I'm alive.
You'll be alive.
In college, I was in the honors program or whatever. So in order to get out, like to graduate, we had to write a 45-page thesis paper, basically. And my thesis was literally about the advancement of technology and how it's going to take away jobs. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. You know what? I'm going to send it to you later. Like, literally, this was when I graduated 2020. So it was my last semester, 2019 going into 2020. And I don't even know what made me even write about it. Like, what, because we had the option of writing anything about anything.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
You're one of the ones with the vision.
No, for real. My 45-page paper was literally about the advancement of technology and how it's going to take away these jobs from people. And it's like, if I feel like, my whole thing was like, I feel like if you're not in the technical industry, you have something to worry about.
And the thing is, you definitely have things to worry about, but whenever technology advances, right, it always creates new jobs too, right? And you have to adapt to it. Like, for example, like going from a horse to a car killed a bunch of jobs, right? But now there's
also created new ones. That's true. Yeah.
But then created all those new ones.
Have you guys seen Interstellar?
What?
Interstellar?
Yeah.
See, you always tell me about a movie I need to see.
That's y'all need to watch that. Like, that's where the world's really coming.
Interstellar, where is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. But essentially, it's about 2055, and it came out like 10 years ago, 2014. Yeah. And essentially it said that like we're not going to need they had like robots helping, but we ran out of real food. We ran out of food. We weren't able, they needed to be farmers. They were less interested in kids going to school to go to college. They needed them to be like in the workforce because we overdid it with technology.
Yeah.
Well, remember the episode we did before about food and stuff like that? That's where a lot of that comes in. There's a lot of technological advancement there.
Yeah, but it talks about the issue with that is we have no control over the world, though. And natural things and natural resources. So it's, if we're continuously advancing it with technology, however, we're not putting any thought into like water, we'll still end up dead. You know?
Yeah, I think I would say though, I mean, that's cool for the movie, and I definitely want to see it. But I would say that there's a lot of really, really smart people that are really, really focused on that. So I wouldn't get too scared about that. That's probably one of the things that they're focused on the most. Like, have you looked at Pierre Diamandis yet?
No.
I tell you that all the time. I'm going to have to get him on the podcast too.
Just share me a video on there. I'll watch.
I got you. But there is probably the most advancement in that. The thing about it, though, the ethical thing is people that are in that field, right? And they're using technology to be able to get bigger crop yields, et cetera. There are people also that are affecting the DNA of those crops, though, like genetic engineering, et cetera. And that's where there's like an issue because making those changes, like sometimes there's positive benefits, like they stopped a famine in India as a result of that, et cetera. But there's still, we don't know how those things are going to affect inside of our body because, you're just messing with it, in a way.
Literally,
Yeah,
so it's weird. It's weird.
Let's not get too much on that, though.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just been watching it every single night for the last week.
Is it a TV? It's a TV show?
No, it's a movie.
Or you just keep rewatching it?
I keep rewatching it. Yeah, it's tea. Because I see a lot of those things happening now. It's kind of scary. Interstellar, I swear it's so dope. I know how you thinking. You watched it? You need to.
I put that on my to-do list to watch Interstellar.
And let me know how that goes and how that affects you. Seriously.
That's crazy. I'm scared, though. You're not scared?
I'm a little scared.
I'm a little scared.
I'm going to be honest.
Everybody should be a little bit scared, but
it's just like you just don't know.
But the more informed you are, you can. I mean, that's how anybody plans for anything. Is like you take in all the information you can take in. You see the potential positives, the potential negatives, and you weigh what you should do with the resources you have based on where you see things can go, positive or negative.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you prepare for the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. See where it ends up. And that's just that's what we have to do.
Yeah, Murphy's Law.
Wow.
So, you answered this one.
I feel like we
were just talking, so that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we did the crypto one. Okay, what practical advice would you give women in the nightlife industry who want to secure their financial futures?
Okay, so I want to say don't overwhelm yourself, but take small actionable steps first. Like, do little things like invest it into your knowledge, you make a lot of money. It's cool to spend on the things that you like the bags and the shoes, but make sure that you're also spending into more knowledge and more skills. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, invest into mentorship, invest into books that's going to teach you more about your money and the future, stuff like that. So definitely take those steps. And then as far as, what was the second part? Or was that just it?
That was pretty much it, like wanting to secure their financial futures. So... But I did have a question. How did you find your mentors?
Literally, so joining the masterclasses like every weeks. A lot of them would say, I've learned from him, I've learned from him, I've learned from him. So that's how I ended up battling between him 500 and Neo Davis. So because all of these people were saying that their mentors were either one of the two.
And how did you find those places? Like Instagram or
Instagram.
How did you? Okay.
Instagram, social media is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. So but what did you type? You just type networking.
So first it starts off at going to events and you following a certain page or certain someone, and then now you're getting suggestions of other pages or other people, and then just going from there, or joining lives and they're going on live with somebody else and I didn't even know about you. Now I know about you. Let me follow you. You're actually putting out some game. Yeah. So literally Instagram. I don't even be on TikTok. That's crazy.
That is crazy. But that's his favorite, Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is my favorite right now, too. I started on Facebook. That's crazy. I don't be on
Facebook.
Yeah, I don't be on Facebook no more at all, though. I really just be on Instagram. But I want to get in my TikTok bag.
Facebook was falling off when you was 10 years old.
People are still on Facebook though. I still go on there for those groups, the group pages,
the Facebook groups. Yeah. A lot of people use the Facebook groups. Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace.
People
use
it for that.
It's good for that, but socially, I'm not on it at all. Really, I'm really just on Instagram. But I do want to get into TikTok. But like, I feel like, am I wasting my time? Because this whole thing with TikTok now.
They talked about Oracle is supposed to step in and buy.
Oh, wow.
So that would be amazing. Hopefully they don't change things. What? Why'd you say it like that?
No, I don't think Oracle's the best people to buy it, but it's better than nobody buying it.
That's better than nobody buying it.
Right.
And I listen.
Because even my CapCut subscription was like...
Yeah. You can use CapCut.
And that's very important.
And then now it's telling me that I can't renew. Basically,
yeah,
on
you
CapCut.
can't.
It's not even on the App Store. So it's like now once my subscription is over, I can't even... And that's how I edit all my videos.
Is there a CapCut alternative?
Yeah,
there's a few.
What are they? Any black ones?
NVIDIA, and InVideo, or whatever the case may be. You could use iMovie.
iMovie is the worst.
I don't like iMovie. I tried it
Cut. You got Final Cut too.
Yeah, I haven't really tried anything else besides editing on CapCut. I've been editing directly on Instagram, which I don't like because now it's like your video can only be on Instagram, and it's like now you download it, it has a watermark.
I hate that.
And you can download it without the watermark. You can? The Repost app.
Oh.
Look at I'll send it to you. You can use the Repost app to go ahead and download it. And also...
Does it mess up the quality?
No.
Oh.
And then you can also, like, when you go into Instagram, look at it on the web version, look at the content. But yeah, never mind. You're not going to want to do all this. So the point is, if you look at the page source and you click it, right click, you can actually get the actual source file and then just download the source file directly. If you just be a little bit technical, but you have to bring up the developer tools, select the area, so this way you'll see that, and then you'll actually see the file address, and you can just download the file address directly from Instagram.
And it won't have the watermark. Can I do that on TikTok too?
I'm pretty sure you could do it on TikTok also.
Without the watermark? Because, all those videos are gone. That's neither here nor there.
Wait, your TikTok videos are gone?
Like, I guess I didn't save them.
Oh, you never, but they're on TikTok.
They're on TikTok.
Okay.
With that watermark.
But yeah, you can pull the Repost app only works for Instagram though. But I'm pretty sure they have something like that for TikTok. But yeah, you should be able to go to TikTok and see the source video and then download the source video. You should be able to do that on the web version. You can't do it on your phone. You have to do it on the web.
And you need to be on fan base.
Yes,
base. Like when it first became very popular, I was on it for a little bit, but not business wise. Like it was like gossip going on there.
Ooh, what's tea?
Or no, actually, I think I'm confusing it.
No, they definitely got gossip on.
Yeah, like, am I confused? Because it was something else that became popular around the same time too. I think it was like a social
spill.
No, Clubhouse. I think it was Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
What a
I think Clubhouse the ops.
But yeah, you know what? I should look into fan base for real.
Yeah, let's do it.
You should 100% do that. And if they have to hit the love icon, you get paid.
Really?
Yeah. You get paid just for them being like, I love this.
Oh.
Right. And you can go live and everything.
You're monetized from day one. You don't need to meet no criteria, nothing. You just monetize.
I'm about to do list.
Yeah, right. Got a lot of lists today.
And they have 800,000 users.
Wow. Okay.
800,000. I could tell because I was scrolling on there last night. Looking at
like 800. I mean, so when you look at it, that's not a lot. Like there's regular people like Umar got more followers than that in general on Instagram, but if you look at it this way, you're one of the first people. And if it continues to go the direction, also, you can invest $399 in fan base, right? You'll get 60 shares and you get it before they go public. And if they blow up.
Which they will.
Yeah, we're speaking that into existence.
Amen.
Because, Isaac Hayes III, he's a real nice guy. Like I've dealt with him before. Not anything crazy, but like when I was working on something before, like me and my business partners had to talk with him, and he was real nice with his team, and also I don't know, I like him a lot right now, even more so. I bumped into him at InvestFest. We were talking for a while, whatever, because obviously we had talked before, we whatever. So we were speaking, and then I joined Fanbase finally then, right? And they immediately verified me. So, sometimes you like when the red carpet gets laid out for you a little bit.
Yeah. Why they didn't do that to me, though?
I mean, my bad. But,
I met them there too.
Yeah, so I don't know, but
It's okay. I'm not gonna hold it against them.
But I felt good. It felt good. That's not a good reason for anybody to do anything. It's a good reason for me to feel good. I was like, yeah, I deserve an automatic check mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
they
important.
recognize real. You know? Well, I guess our last question. What is one key takeaway you want listeners to remember from this episode?
I want to say definitely have a different look on women who are working in nightlife. Because a lot of these movies, shows, TV shows, they put this image of the nightlife out there. Like, y'all know, y'all watched the P-Valley, even the latest one. What was it called? Beauty in Black.
Oh, yeah.
You just see that?
Yeah, I did.
On Netflix. It's like, they make it look very harsh and very like, maybe it may be some areas that's like that, but also it's just like, I want y'all to start looking at women who work in the nightlife as women. Like, they're not just nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're in it for a reason. They have their goals. It's definitely a stepping stone. 9 times out of 10 is not their final goal. So just think of them as a human. Like, we're all trying to get to it. You know what I'm saying? And for the woman who's working in nightlife, be intentional about your future. Like, you know what I'm saying? Working in the club, there are a lot of women who want to be there, like, career-wise, but you also got to remember you're one income away from not having anything if you're only relying on that. Because also it's a physical industry. So God forbid something happens to you where you can't physically work anymore and now you have nothing else to rely on. So whether you want to work there career-wise or not, you still need to invest into other sources of income, other passive income, other streams where you're making other money. And moral of the story as well, make sure you're taking control of your finances, doing the little steps like starting to track the income that you're making. Start an LLC because you are a walking brand. You got to understand that. You got to shift your mindset from just a hustler to a business owner. You're a CEO. You feel me? Yeah. Be about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, open up that business bank account and just be intentional about your future. Don't just get trapped in the end of the cycle, working every single night, every day, either strapping on those sales, serving those bottles, being behind the bar. Like, it can get trapped. And it's easy to because, with the industry, it comes a lot of men, it comes drugs, it comes alcohol, it comes like all of this. And it's easy to get wrapped up in it. But make sure you're setting your goals and your plan and thinking about your future. Look at it as a stepping stone and not a final destination.
Man, they call me Mr. CTO. I'm the one that you should call when you're learning code. Success follow me around if you didn't know. From the bottom, so the top, the only way to go. Yeah, man, they call me Mr. CTO. I'm the one that you should call when you're learning code. Success follow me around if you didn't know. From the bottom, so the top, the only way to go. Got in this game from a humble beginning, but now we went and came up.